Alright, got a Craftsman, Craftsman radial saw with a miter. Seems to be an older model from the other kinds that I see online. It's a 10-inch blade. I bought it a week ago. Got a new blade and trying to change it somehow. So there's a nut here, another one inside there. There's no blade lock, so you have to use these two tools to get that going there. And of course I've got it pulled all the way out with the setting here. Pulls it that way. So like I said, we're still trying to get this sucker off. So this nut needs to go clockwise, like that. This one just needs to stay dead. I'd rather not get blown out in my hands. Trying to fit with the old piece of advice where if you're trying to force something on a tool, you're probably doing it wrong. There we go. There we go. So we see your nut here. Goes off. Got another blade guard. Or not a blade guard, sorry. Just a big washer. Take that off. You see it kind of past its usefulness. It's still cut well enough. I'd made a few passes, but if I look at the teeth, some of them started to wear down. So here, grab my shears. Got a nice Diablo blade. It's a 10-inch and is going to be cutting hopefully well into the barnwood that I'm using. For this, I'm just using a pair of shears that I picked up at an estate sale. Most of my tools are from estate sales or secondhand. There we go. Wait. Put that out. Nice there. So I got this one because it's supposed to be useful for laminated beams, OSB, a bunch of denser woods, especially hardwoods. A lot of this barn beam or barnwood that I pick up to do some hobby craft and stuff is pretty thick stuff. Some of it's chestnut, 100-year-old, 200-year-old chestnut. A lot of it's heart pine. Some of it's spruce, which is pretty easy to cut. You see, this is the way that the blade spins here. You can tell from earlier on in the video. So here, I'll put the Diablo blade on, same way, spin that way. There. Oops. Put that on. Uh-oh. I didn't want to use any thread release or WD-40. Come on. Oh yeah, it's a reverse thread. Just because I don't need this saw coming off. These radial saws aren't popular anymore because they had a lot of safety issues. It's the way the blade was cutting. If it would, if you're were cutting this way, if you were cutting this way, or like I've seen some people use it, if you had the piece of wood here, and this is unplugged by the way, I'm not just sticking my hand in there willy-nilly. If you're cutting this way, like I've seen some people do, towards the operator this way, this blade would have a tendency to spin this way, and it would want to run out towards the person. And if you had your arms down here looking, I'm looking in here, and it ran out this way, this arm would climb over your fingers, and you'd have to take some unplanned PTO. So like I said, lock that back out. Send the shot. There you go. So, got my blade on. We'll tighten it up. Nice and snug here. Like I said, when I was loosening it, it was going clockwise, right? So now, when I'm tightening it, we'll go counterclockwise or this way. You can get it nice and tight there. I see some evidence where these tools have slipped in the past, a bit into that softer. I think the steel in this may be old, or this in here, that piece right there, you can kind of see a few tool marks as it spins, especially right there. Make sure you get a good purchase in there. All right, and that is the replaced blade. Like I said, I don't know what year this saw is. I tried to find a serial number or a model number. Couldn't find it out either. But all the ones that I've seen guides for online on YouTube and stuff are for what I think is a newer model, or a newer model rather, since they don't make these anymore. And here's what I'm doing. The way that you put the blade guard back on the dust cover is by this little apparatus here. We're just tightening it up. And there, blade changed on the, before, to get that off, all I did was just unscrew this, and this slid off like that. So, have that nice and tight. You'll see this little thing here. This is for when I talked about earlier. If you were cutting and the piece all of a sudden wanted to fly out that way, these pieces would, see if I can, these pieces would hopefully, if they were down, let's say that I need another. Thicker piece. Come on. You can just kind of see here. So if this were to come out this way, you're sliding here, and it wants to kick back out that way. These teeth here would dig into the wood right there, like it's doing in my finger. They would dig in and stop the blade from hopefully moving any further. You see, they can go this way all at once, but if it's up and tries to move this way, the idea is it jams in and bites into the wood right there. Save a digit. Yeah. So now I'm going to continue on. I'm going to try and use it, raise it into its table saw position, section, flatten this out, piece out a little bit right here. Maybe think about getting this part nice and flush, nice and flat, and then flip it over. I'm going to try and preserve this side because it's got some nice tool marks, some axe or adzim marks from where it was shaped. And then maybe cut a flat into this. This is all nice and wormy. If this were chestnut, I might want to save this as some evidence, but this is probably just run-of-the-mill. This isn't like wormy chestnut. This is just like run-of-the-mill carpenter ants got into this spruce before it got taken down up here in Pennsylvania. So I also generally don't leave this workbench or this bench top this messy. I just do it while I have the saw off and unplugged. So yeah, I might film that.